Hey guys, I'm Arrington Thompson, and I am half of Old School Guys talking old school music. I've got Kenny Gradney here. Kenny Gradney is the longtime bassist for Little Feat, the absolutely fantastic group Little Feat. Kenny, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine, just fine.
I am really, really appreciative of you doing this. Let me just tell you my personal connection to Little Feat. I was in college. This is 1979. My best friend from high school was going to the University of Miami. He's in the music school down there, and of
Yeah.
course, I can't miss spring break down there. I go down there, and the one album he is playing is "Down on the Farm" by Little Feat, and he is wearing it out. And I had never heard of Little Feat before, and I fell in love with that album and you guys ever since. Tell me a
Thank-
little bit about first. Tell me a little bit about you. How did you get interested in the bass, and then we'll kind of transition there. How you got into Little Feat.
Well, I grew up, my dad was in the music business in the 40s and 50s. And my dad's from Texas. And my dad left Texas with a gentleman named Lonnie Rochon, who became a big disc jockey in Los Angeles. And another gentleman who I thought I was my uncle. I was just like, I was a baby, 5, 4, 5, 6. Johnny Otis. They all came out here together, and my father managed artists, Little Willie Littlefield. He'd managed and toured with, tour managed Bob Wells, the Texas Playboys, just so many different artists. And he was always bringing songs home and asking the kids, if we danced to it, he'd go and produce it. And I grew up in that environment. My brothers, I'm in the middle of 11 kids, and my brothers would
Holy moly!
doo wop in the bedroom all night. And I started looking at instruments. And when I was 13, 14, I was 13, 12, 13. I was 12, we moved. I moved in a neighborhood with a couple of guys, Roland Batista and Nestor Sorayas, who started playing guitar. Roland Batista ended up in Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Ronnie Laws and Hubert Laws. He was a great, great guitar player. We were all kids in sixth grade together, and I started playing bass around that time. But I just played it on the guitars. And my cousin moves in the neighborhood, and he was a drummer who played guitar and everything, and he put a bass in my hand and taught me the scales, major and minor scales. My cousin is Al McKay. Al McKay was in Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Watch
Yes.
130 Rhythm Band. He is a genius musician, incredible drummer, wonderful guy. And we had a band called the Turbans. And we played all over the city. We backed all kind of people. And when I was 16, my dad had a maintenance company, and he had produced Ike and Tina. So we were over their house, buffing the floors, and my cousin played in Ike's band. He goes, "Hey, get over here and grab this bass off the wall and tune it up." And I looked at my dad. My dad was smiling. So I ended up playing with Ike and Tina Turner when I was 16 for
Holy moly! That must have been outstanding.
for a minute. I did maybe 7 shows with them before Ike finally kicked me off the stage because, I was 16 years old. I'd really been playing about 2 years, and but I played the Whiskey, the Golden Bear, it's all around L.A. and played some shows with them. Had a great time. Made me want to really focus on what I was doing. I'm a young kid with ADD who can't sit in the classroom, and I would
Yep.
just sit with the record player and just learn song after song after song after song. Read books on my own, and that's how I learned to play. I got in. My second oldest brother, started SIR with Ken and Dolph. He was a roadie. He was a roadie for Force Hamilton, Watt Stax, Wackert. He did the Watt Stax Festival here. My brother's idea, he put it together. And my brother hooked me up with Delaney and Bonnie because he was production manager. And I played with them, the Allman Brothers, Greg Dwayne, and all that. Carnegie Hall just blew my mind. From 69 to 72, I played with them. I did 2 albums with Delaney. I left Delaney, and Sam Clayton and I, we were with Delaney. I left, and Dolph Fremp calls me up and says, there's this band here that keeps rehearsing bass players over and over for the past 2 weeks. And
You're a tack dog?
Yeah, my little chihuahua. She sees another dog, she barks. And I went and auditioned for Little Feat and played with them for a couple of weeks, and then brought Sam in, and Lowell loved him from the get-go because he calmed Richie down, which Lowell had been trying to do. You know, he held him down to where he couldn't do all the crazy stuff because Sam would just play that groove and you had to follow it. And we just went from there. The first album was Dixie Chicken that I did.
Nice. We'll talk a little bit about Dixie Chicken. Actually, that's the first song I wanted to chat with you about. But before we get into that, we've got breaking news today that Sylvester Stewart, known as Sly Stone, he passed away today. I'd like to get your thoughts on that. Let me play, before I get your thoughts, let me play one of their hits, and they have plenty, Everyday People. Let's listen to this. What thoughts do you have on Sly and the Family Stone?
This song you're playing, you know, the opening line says it all about Sly. My own beliefs are in my song. You know, I am just everyday people, you know, and he was not pretentious. You know, I got to meet him when I was with Delaney and Bonnie. He hung out with Delaney. I was 19, 20 years old, and they would be hanging around the house, you know. And I was so enamored by Delaney, the house next door went up for rent, and it was the first house I've ever rented on my own, and I lived there, and he'd yell my name, and I'd come running, you know, with my bass and sit there and he was writing. At the time, he was writing with George Harrison, George Harrison's solo album. Delaney co-produced it and wrote a lot of the stuff and helped George with his first album. And I just, you know, Sly was there and I chatted with him. He was just down-to-earth guy, you know, who was just an everyday people partying and writing, you know. He was quite a guy. As a bassist, Kenny, tell me what your thoughts are on how Sly changed the direction of soul or R&B with songs like "If You Want Me to Stay" and "Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself." Those songs, to me, were a cross between funk and rock and roll. Okay, he bridged the gap between the two, I think, because everybody listened to him. They were funky as a goat. But they also had a great open message, you know, and it was just down-to-earth music. And I think, you know, Larry Grant, you know, introduced slap, you know, because he didn't have a drummer when he played with his mother in church, and she told him, you got to keep the rhythm, and that's how he started doing that. and he introduced that. And you go online, and every bass player coming out of Berkeley slaps. You know,
Yeah.
they all
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
and it's so funny. It's so funny. They brought so much to the music world, to rock and roll, to funk, to blues, to everything. I think, in my opinion.
Let's hear a little bit of "If You Want Me to Stay," and then we will smoothly transition back to Little Feat.
Certainly.
If you want me to stay, I'll be around today to be available for you to see. I'm about to go, and then you'll know for me to stay, I got to be me. You'll never be in doubt, that's what it's all about. You can't take me for granted and smile. Count my days, I'm gone. Forget reaching me by phone, because I promise I'll be gone for a while. When you see me again, I hope that you have been the kind of person.
I just love that tune. Just love
That
that tune.
bass line, man. That bass line. Nobody played like that.
It's
Larry
just
Wilson.
as fresh as it was. It's just as fresh today as it was 30, 40 years ago.
It'll be like that at 50 years from now. Just
Abs-
like.
So let's talk a little bit more about Little Feat. And when I listen to Little Feat, it seems to me I'm listening to a group that refuses to be pigeonholed. Is that true? Did you guys specifically write like that?
We just wrote, We just wrote, and Lowell, Lowell wrote country stuff. He wrote all kind of stuff. And they, the record companies want to pigeonhole you, want to say you're like this, you're like that. But, these guys were, they come out of the studio. Billy would come out of the studio with the Doobies, China Grove, all of that stuff. That's Billy Payne playing all of that stuff. They played on the Ronstadt stuff, everything. Bonnie she got to do her first album. She wanted to use Little Feat for her first album. And
Bonnie Raitt.
Yes. And we would get together and just start writing. There's a period when Lowell and Richie were fighting, and Lowell fired Richie, and we got Freddie Washington playing drums with us. And we're sitting in our rehearsal hall in Cahuenga, Sam and Freddie and I, and it's a Saturday, we're not rehearsing, and we're just jamming. We got this groove going, and we're just partying, having a good time. And Lowell and Billy walk in, and Billy turns on the tape recorder and fires up his organ, and Lowell says, "Keep playing," and he walks up to the mic, and he sings Spanish Moon verbatim to the groove we were playing. And it's Spanish Moon today. And
Just as a matter of fact, guess what I have?
what's that? That's it.
So there's a groove in Spanish Moon that just cannot be stopped. That is fabulous.
That is funky. I
That is
love that song.
fabulous.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things that when I listen to Little Feat, to me, it seems to me that we've got some very intricate rhythms, and I think one of the hits of Little Feat, Dixie Chicken, kind of exemplifies that. Tell us a little bit about Dixie Chicken.
Dixie Chicken is one of the first songs I recorded with Little Feat. It was the first time I was in the studio with them, you know, and it was really, really nice. We were right here in Burbank, I believe, or Hollywood. I can't remember where we recorded it. And recording with Lowell was really easy because he just said play, you know, and we just sat down in the groove. And I had never played this kind of stuff before. Delaney and Bonnie was old Southern soul music. It was easy to play. And I wanted to keep my stuff as simple as possible, especially playing with Richie, because you have to be able to get a hold of that kick drum and stay simple. And that's how that bass line came up, you know. And the song was a story. When I heard him sing it, I was like, wow, it's just the coolest story, you know. He just wrote like that. He could write. He was amazing.
So that was Lowell George who wrote that tune?
Yes. Him
Nice.
and Martin Kibbe.
Okay.
Martin Kibbe was someone who hung around the band when I first joined, and he was one of the crazy guys. Borrowed Richie's car one day for 6 months.
Let's hear a little of Dixie Chicken.
I beg your pardon?
Let's hear a little of Dixie Chicken.
Sure.
I've seen the bright lights of Memphis and the Commodore Hotel, and underneath the street lamp I made a sail down. Well, she took me to the river where she cast her spell, and in that southern moonlight she sang the song so well. If you be my Dixie Chicken, I'll be your Tennessee Lamb, and we can walk together down in Dixieland, down in Dixieland.
Yeah.
So it looks like, you know, when you're sitting around, well, it looks to me like when I'm sitting around listening to Little Feat, that there is an undertone of what I would like to call either Cajun or Zydeco music. Where does that come from? I know you were born in Baton Rouge, but
No.
No?
I was born in New Orleans.
oh, New Orleans. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch out for Wikipedia. It'll get you.
It did.
I was born in New Orleans, February. In December, I was on a train coming to California. And I grew up here my whole life. But I grew up around all my cousins and everything. And it was a Creole community. A bunch of us moved out here. There is definitely an undertone of that music. Don't ask me why, but it's the way I play. I just, you know, I've taught myself to play, and I just play the way I play, what I hear and what I feel. And stop. No, leave the doggies alone. I'm trying to do something here. And these are my little animals, by the way.
Oh, not one, but two.
Oh, I'm holding them down. And it's always had that feel and that sound, you know. Richie's from Iowa, you know. Billy's from Texas. Paul and Lowell here,
Yeah.
L.A.
Yeah.
You know. So, and Sam and I I was from Louisiana. Sam was from Colfax, Louisiana.
So when when I first listened to Down on the Farm, what 6 Feet of Snow kind of has that a little of that southern
Zydeco.
Louisiana sound. Yes. Let's listen to Cajun Girl, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
Serious blue eyes, so pale and so shy. Look closer, 'cause she's got that look in her eye. Red hair that sails on a soft southern breeze. Fingers that fly on accordion keys. You ain't seen nothing till you see my Cajun girl. She's really something, my sweet singing Cajun girl. The Cajuns speak Creole and lay on the spice. Her fancy's so free on Saturday nights. She sing and she play at the parish hall bands. Big city chef Tuesdays just don't stand a chance. You ain't seen nothing till you see my Cajun girl. She's really something, my sweet.
I
Yeah.
love the harmony on that. It is absolutely fabulous. How did that tune come about?
Paul wrote that, Cajun Girl. Paul and Billy, I believe, wrote that. Paul, we went to Louisiana and they just fell in love with it. We were doing Feet Don't Fill Me Now. And we ended up doing Robert Palmer's album. And Lowell, Robert Palmer's second album. His first album, he had still was doing some stuff on, and that was with Alan Toussaint producing it with the Meters.
Okay.
And after we finished all of our stuff, Lowell went back with Robert to New Orleans, and him and Sam played on some more of his stuff. And Lowell fell in love with Alan Toussaint, came back and did On Your Way Down, and Paul and all of them, they just fell in love with the music, and, and like Richie said, thank God they didn't fall in love with polka. Richie had a great sense of humor.
So Larry, the other half of Old School Guys, Larry was telling
Yeah.
a story that, he was working at the time with Bobby McFerrin, and Bobby McFerrin called him up and said, "Man, you got to get over here." And Larry said, I live 20 minutes away. And no, you got to get over here. You got to hear this song right now. And so Larry hauls tail across town, and they listened to Skin It Back probably 10 times in a row. Tell me a little
Paul
bit
wrote
about
that.
Tell me a little bit about Skin It Back and the groove that is underlying in that piece.
Well, it originally wasn't called Skin It Back. Paul had written the song, and it's a kind of a vulgar story. Paul had written this song, and we were recording it. Paul and Sam were not circumcised. I don't know how to tell you this story. And Paul and Sam start singing in the background, "Skin It Back," and Paul starts laughing. And they all started singing it. And that's how it got the title, but it had nothing to do with the song. Absolutely. They were just being,
Being
crazy.
guys, being 20-year-old
Being
guys.
guys.
Yeah.
And Sam, boy, he's the professor. He just starts right into it, and Paul fell over laughing, and that's how the song got the title. But the Paul wrote it, and he's a funky as a goat. Paul, he was, and he played all that stuff, and we just put it together. And when we would go in and to sound check, fire up, get high, and just start jamming. We jam is now a song called "Get the Dog Racers."
Okay.
That was a jam, our warm up. Okay, never had a title. It was just something we would start doing. Paul would hit that lick, and we would just start flying through that song for about 20 minutes. And Billy always had a tape recorder on, and he was always taking notes of everything that happened. He has books on top of books on top of books of us rehearsing and what we said and what we were doing. And we would come out of that, and then we would go into the whatever we were doing, and we would be loose, and we would be in this kind of mood, and everything would just come out different, and we would play songs different, you know. And when he put that song down, it just, you know, I'm waiting for something to take place, something to get me away from this place. You know, it was really nice.
Let's listen to a piece of it.
Okay.
The meters, and to me, this song, Skin It Back, at least the groove in there, seems to me to be a little bit meter-esque. Is that fair?
We never tried to be anybody but what we were doing.
Sure.
The only musician that I ever tried to copy was James Jamerson. He won my heart as a kid. He just the man, you know?
Yes.
He was unbelievable.
So you guys broke up in what, 1979? And
Lowell
then
passed away in 79. 1980, we did a benefit for Liz and the kids, big benefit. And then everybody went their way. You know, and Paul and I did a Nicolette Larson tour. We did Japan, United States tour with her, with Nicolette, and then nothing. Paul started his own band. Sam was with Jimmy Buffett, and Billy was with everybody. Linda, he just was playing with everybody, and I got a call from, what's my buddy's name? Bass player. He was playing with, I got a call from the Mick Fleetwood crew. He had a band called The Zoo. He was looking for a bass player. And I started touring with him. And that was fun. We had a great time. Fitted me in a tuxedo, and we started opening for the Beach Boys. A whole summer in the 80s.
Nice. But then you guys got back in around, was it 1988, 89?
We got back together in 86. we got a call. Billy calls me up and said that we used to rehearse at Alley Rehearsal Hall, and they had taken one of their rooms and dedicated it to Lowell, and they asked if we would come and play in there. We hadn't seen each other. So I went over there, and we couldn't remember any of those songs. I mean, we would start the song, because we changed arrangements constantly when we were on the road.
Sure.
So just, the solos would change all the time. And we would start playing, and all of a sudden one would take off in one area of the solo, and someone would remember another old solo, and we would start laughing. But we sounded just like we always sounded, and that's the part that got us. And so Billy called me up and said that he was working on something to get us back together. Now, when we were touring before Lowell died, Fuller Cass Band was opening for us, Craig Fuller. So him and Paul started writing. And they started writing Let It Roll and Hate to Lose Your Lovin' and all that. And Lowell died, and then they stopped. So when Billy called and started talking about getting the band back together, Paul talked to him about getting Craig Fuller to sing. And so Craig and Paul got back together and finished Hate to Lose and Let It Roll. And brought a tape. Billy had gotten Peter Asher to manage us. So Peter got a hold of Hate to Lose and Let It Roll, the demo that they did, and he brought it to Warner Brothers and said, "This is all I'm going to give you, Little Feat's getting back together." And we got a record deal. We got nominated for a Grammy.
Tell me a little bit about the song on that album, "Voices on the Wind."
Billy, did Billy and Paul write that? I know Billy wrote it, "Voices on the Wind." And who's singing on that? Oh, it's Valerie Carter singing on that. That's who that is.
Has a kind of a Celtic feel to it.
Yes. Billy would write, very ethereal kind of things. "Voices on the Wind" was a great song.
Let's hear a little bit of it, because I love this tune. I absolutely love this tune.
Drop all sense of reason. It's there you'll find your own word. And though you are surrounded, feeling quite alone, there's a light to guide you home. If you stand with your face to the wind off the water, at the point of landing where the ocean begins, look to the memory of the ones gone before, the light and the meaning of voices on the wind.
I could be mistaken about this.
I doubt it, but go ahead.
I think when Kareem retired, they played this song in the Forum.
Oh, really?
We did Arsenio Hall, and Magic Johnson was on the show. So we gave him a copy of our album, and the next thing you know, our music was all over the Forum, and we all got invited to come to the game and stuff.
Nice.
And I believe this, if you could get a hold of one of Kareem's retirement video, where they have him in the big rocking chair and they roll the Rolls Royce down. This is right after his fire at his house. That song is playing.
Kenny, we've actually found the missing Larry Fulcher. Larry, how are you, buddy?
Larry's
Man,
here.
I'm on Spanish time and I misjudged it by an hour. I'm just up, drinking coffee and chilling and figured, okay, I got 10 more minutes. No, no.
So,
Kenny, glad you're here, man. Thank you, thank you,
Oh
thank you,
yeah,
dude.
man. Can you see me? I see you.
I can see you.
Oh, good.
let's talk about. So right now, Larry, we're talking about their comeback album, Let It Roll. We just played Voices on the Wind, and I would like to talk about a really fun, straight up rock and roll tune that Kenny was alluding to, called Let It Roll. I think that's a fabulous tune.
Yes, Paul and Craig wrote this song, and it's just right up Paul's alley.
It reeks of Paul. It just reeks of him. Man.
It reeks of Paul. Rolling down Highway 95.
Yeah.
He was something. I really miss him.
I'm going to join the conversation by saying what I've told Kenny for a long time. You cats are my favorite band, man.
Thank you, Larry.
I friggin' love Little Feat. Y'all got me through a lot of stuff. I first saw the band at the Fillmore back when they were a four-piece, and they had the bass player from Santa Ana, one of my homeboys who's still in jail.
Roy Estrada.
Roy, yeah. And then
He's still in Texas.
he's Santa Ana gone wrong. But then,
Yes.
man, just I'd been out traveling, and Bobby McFerrin is a good friend of mine.
Oh, I told you I messed up and told your Bobby McFerrin story. Sorry.
Okay, good. It's a true story, man. He called me, and Bobby's like, he's screaming into the song. He's singing everybody's part, into a 70s telephone, and it's distorted, and he says, man, come over to my mom's house. Come over to my mom's house right now. So I jumped on the freeway and drove from Santa Ana to Fullerton over his mom's house, man, and he was skinning back. Man, that's some serious funk. And I'll say, Kenny, that when you joined the band, when that version of the band came out, it was just badass. I mean, you brought some Louisiana in there. You and Sam.
Sam, yeah.
It was just it was a different thing, a whole different thing.
It opened up, it opened up a lot. Sam playing congas with Richie, because Richie is a beast of a drummer. Mm-hmm. And Sam would play traps also. There's one song where Sam's playing drums with Richie, and Richie's so mad because he can't go nowhere because Sam's just holding him down. With this song, there's a side shot from south of the border. I can't think of the name of the song.
Down below the borderline.
Down below the borderline. Sam plays traps with him. What a great song.
Yeah.
Let's hear a little bit. Go ahead, Larry.
There was, man, Richie and I became good friends, and whenever Taj needed a sub, I'd call Richie. And it was very interesting playing with Richie. I mean, because you and him had a push-pull thing. You know what I mean? It is very swampy, very, very New Orleans, Louisiana style thing. And you're right. Sam's in the middle, holding the shit down.
Yeah. Holding it down.
Richie's drumming breathed.
Yes, it does.
A little ahead, sometimes a little behind, but deadly all the time.
Deadly.
You can't hear that song without him.
He was an artist. He painted. He was an artist. He draw pictures and painted. And when he played, he did the same thing. He painted tones. He was unbelievable.
We brought him into that Taj Mahal, structure. That Taj, and Taj's stuff is pretty loose. I think I've been with the band 32, 33 years, and I know we haven't had a half dozen rehearsals in that whole time. I promise you. I promise you. And Taj's thing was always, man, don't worry about playing the part, play the song. Just play the song. And turning Richie loose on that Taj stuff, man, was just a ball. And there's some offstage things that we can talk about when
Tell me about it. I know. He was something. He was a very, very bright young man. He had great
Yeah.
retention. He read constantly. You could talk to him about anything. He had
And sang,
such retention.
and sang his ass off.
Oh, he had him and Lowell's voices were so perfect together.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it was
man. Long
unbelievable.
distance love is just it's incredible.
Yes,
Let's hear a
unbelievable.
little bit of Let It Roll.
Rolling down Highway 95, sailing through a hometown countryside. Move on over, stand aside my cruise control and overdrive. Need to take my baby for a ride. Ooh, she's like a smooth stretch of highway. Ooh, like a cool summer breeze. If my motor's running right, we might lose control tonight. Got the shape I love to squeeze. Looks that bring me to my knees. So please, let it roll tonight.
Was he talking about a car or a woman?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
In the boat.
or a groove.
I just think that's a fabulous, fabulous tune.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what I think is again one of your signature tunes. Feet Don't Fail Me Now.
Feet Don't Fail Me Now. We did 1974. Was the first time we worked with George Massenburg. We all moved to Baltimore for 8 months to Towson because George
You
had
were
met
you
some
were you
good-
being punished? Is that why you had to move to Baltimore?
we
That was where my
we were-
mom was born. So
Really, we were working on saturating the West Coast. That's why we're so popular in the DC area because we played all those little spots around there. But George had built a studio, the first studio he ever built with the moving faders. And he did it for this very wealthy guy who wanted to have the recording studio, the record printing plant, the management company, the record company, all in one building, you know? So we went to that building and we cut Feet Don't Fail Me Now. And George Massenburg was the first time he worked with us, and he engineered the album. And that's when we met Robert Palmer, like I said before. Palmer came in and we did Pressure Drop, his second album. And
Was
Feet
that
Don't
Sneaking
Fail
Through
Me
the
Now
Alley
was
with
something.
Sally?
Yeah, Sneaking Through the Alley. No, that's the first album. The second album was Pressure Drop.
Okay.
A lot of reggae stuff. But that song, Feet Don't Fail Me Now, was like Paul and Lowell and Billy, I think they wrote that together. You know? Don't Fail Me. We were, you know, it's like the last record album. That was a note to Warner Brothers. It was we had a record label. A record deal was over after this one. Lowell's idea, call it the last record album. And Feet Don't Fail Me Now was, you know, trying to kick the career up.
let's listen to a piece of that. Before we do that, Larry, you have any comments on Feet Don't Fail Me Now?
Yeah, a cool one. There was a Lowell George tribute record, remember? A few years back in the 90s?
Yeah.
And with Taj, we were asked to contribute to that. They asked us what song we wanted to do. And I said, "Feast don't fail me now." And that's what we did on that, man. Your bass playing is just wicked, 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 man.
You guys did Feast Don't Fail Me Now with Taj?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I got to hear that.
Yes.
It's on YouTube. You can find it.
I'm good. As soon as we're done, I'm going to bring it
Yeah,
up.
with John Porter produced it
Oh,
and,
my
and
God.
took the guitar solo. John Cleary and I sang harmonies with Taj. So I think it's worthy. We weren't going to half-ass the Little Feat song, man. Come on.
This will be playing in the back of the bus when I get on the road. I'm leaving Thursday morning to get back with the guys. We're starting up the West Coast. So,
Man, y'all have a good time, man. Have a good time.
we're promoting this new album, Strike Up the Band. Have you heard that yet? They got
Yes.
some good
Yes.
songs on
Good.
there.
Good stuff on that. Good stuff.
I'll be downloading that tonight while you download Feast Don't Fail Me Now. How's that?
Oh, I promise you.
All right. Let's listen
Yeah.
to Feet Don't Fail Me Now.
And that's the
Your mama says keep away. I got to tell you truthful, girl, you can never make me stay. I got something up and down this coast. I bet you my last dollar, girl, I can love you the most. Don't the sunrise look so pretty? Never such a sight. Like rolling into New York City with a sky in the morning light. Roll right through the night. Roll right through the night. I said
Feet Don't Fail Me Now. Love it. Absolutely love it. Larry, you have anything? We're actually we're about ready to wrap it up. What other things would you like to say or mention that I probably forgot?
Just that I credit these guys so much with putting some serious funk in rock and roll. It was kind of like if the Meters had been a rock and roll band. You know what I mean? and it's Kenny. He brought the Louisiana thing in there to the band, and
Yeah.
it's just outstanding, man. And then I heard y'all in Minneapolis. I broke up with a girl because of you, guys.
I apologize.
Well, y'all had the Tower of Power horns,
Oh, yeah.
and I wanted to go. I had 2 tickets. She didn't want to go.
What?
Really?
What?
Oh,
Uh,
you're better off, man.
Yeah, she
Yes,
needed
I
to,
took someone else. And
Yeah.
you're right.
Yes.
yeah, she needed to hit the curb. Yeah. Come on.
You're better off.
And
You
y'all,
got to hang
y'all-
out with the girls that love music, man. Not
That love good music.
good for you. Yeah.
it was
Good
like
music.
sacrilege, you know. I mean, if you don't like Little
Yeah.
Feat, then we probably shouldn't talk anymore. I'm cool. God bless you. And the other Little Feat connection. When I first joined Taj's band, Bill was the piano player,
Mm-hmm.
so that's how I got to meet him.
What band was that?
This was in '93. The first gig I did with Taj, we were promoting the Dancing the Blues album.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think Bill had made the album. I didn't play bass on it because I was off traveling with Maria Moldauer and on the job Bob Glob.
On the job, Bob Glob. I love him.
I do too, man. How do you not love Glob? It's something wrong with you if you don't like that guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man.
But I mean, that was my first entree into knowing any of you guys personally, and where we record all the Taj records and the Phantom Blues Band records, man. Kenny's a constant visitor, come in and tell us whether or not we suck or whatever.
Just right around the corner. It's hard not to. Tony's there right now. I think I'm going to go pop my head in there.
Slap him upside the head. You know, he's.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Never hear the end of it.
But man,
Let me-
thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I,
My pleasure.
I'm sorry I blew the time.
Oh, man. It's You like my artwork here?
We can. Well, we saw it a little bit better before. Who is that in that photo?
This is
Yes.
Thelonious.
Thelonious
Yeah, I mean,
Monk.
I can see just part of the face, and I recognize Thelonious.
That's Thelonious Monk. That's
Yes.
and Miles.
Nice.
Oh,
Young man, incredible musician. This kid is like he's a Renaissance man. He painted those.
Nice.
wow.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought that
And
was a
he-
photograph.
No, he painted those, and he is an unbelievable pianist. He's
Oh, wow.
just writes music scores. His father mixes movies. Just won another Oscar. He mixes the sound after the movie's done. He mixed The Life of Pi, all the Dune movies.
Nice.
Fun. And sometimes he says, "I need a score for this section of the movie," and his son just writes it right there, plays it. He's unbelievable. He's a Renaissance man.
You know, man,
All right, you guys.
Kenny
I have
Gradney.
I have one
go
more,
ahead.
one more anecdote.
Go ahead.
This is from Bonnie Raitt. She said if you guys had let her in the band, she wouldn't have had a solo career. She said she loved playing with Little Feat that much that if you guys had let her in the band, that was it. She's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever else.
She was so amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Yeah. She's a pretty outstanding lady, and
Yeah, she is.
Kenny Gradney, really, really appreciate you doing this for us. I think this is absolutely fabulous. We'll have this up shortly. I'm Arrington Thompson. He is Larry Fulcher of Old School Guys, talking old school music. Thank you for listening.
That's it. God bless.
God bless you too. Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
All right, holla.